White House facing more questions over the Jeffrey Epstein case.
They're engaging in a cover-up.
Donald Trump's administration is facing a full rebellion from the MAGA faithful.
Release the Epstein files, am I right?
I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
Physically, you're gonna pee the probably right now.
Trump struggles to contain fallout from Epstein controversy amid renewed scrutiny. The political firestorm surrounding former President Donald Trump and the legacy of Jeffrey Epstein shows no signs of cooling down. Despite multiple attempts by Trump and his inner circle to shift the narrative, the controversy continues to grow, fueled by questions over past associations, recent media reports, and an increasingly fractured conservative movement. In a recent social media post, Trump lashed out at critics, warning that no explanation would ever satisfy what he described as politically motivated troublemakers. But his aggressive tone has only drawn more attention to the issue, as media outlets and political analysts revisit his historical ties to Epstein and the implications of newly resurfaced evidence. The scandal re-emerged just months before the 2024 election cycle moves into full swing. Reports of internal frustration within Trump's camp have surfaced as advisors scramble to manage growing speculation about Epstein's death and the possibility of sealed records containing high-profile names. Instead of dampening the outrage, Trump's reactionary approach, including wild online claims and abrupt topic shifts, has arguably poured fuel on the fire. This particular controversy is unique. Unlike previous legal and political battles that often pit Trump against liberal critics, the Epstein saga has unsettled even parts of his own MAGA base. The theory of a hidden deep state, long championed by right-wing influencers, is now colliding with statements from Trump's own former officials who have tried to downplay the matter. Their dismissal of such theories has only fueled further distrust among hardcore supporters. Over the weekend, Trump diverted attention by attacking the NFL's Washington franchise, demanding they revert to their former name. He also targeted the intelligence community once again, blaming officials from the Obama era for exaggerated claims about Russian interference in the 2016 election. While these distractions may have energized parts of his base, the Epstein controversy continues to command headlines and spark bipartisan curiosity. For many, it isn't the original allegations that are keeping the story alive. It's the pattern of secrecy and inconsistency. In a political climate where conspiracy theories thrive, any perceived cover-up becomes a breeding ground for distrust. That's exactly what appears to be unfolding, as even some Republicans quietly admit that Trump's handling of the situation has created unnecessary risk. Recent polling indicates a divide among GOP voters. While many remain supportive of Trump's narrative, a growing segment appears unsure how to process the revelations. A Sunday poll showed that a slim majority of Republican voters believe the administration's response has been adequate, but only 36% of all Americans feel the issue has been properly addressed.
This disconnect is troubling for Trump's advisors, who had hoped to focus attention on his early administration's achievements and promises for a second term. Instead, the Epstein narrative continues to overshadow policy discussions and threatens to fracture an already tense conservative coalition. Democratic lawmakers have seized the moment, demanding full disclosure of any documents related to Epstein's associations. Interestingly, their calls echo demands made by some pro-Trump activists, who argue that a lack of transparency feeds suspicion. The convergence of these unlikely allies suggests that the issue transcends traditional partisan boundaries. Senator Amy Klobuchar criticized Trump's attempts to blame Democrats for the controversy, reminding viewers that the president was in office when Epstein was arrested and later died in custody. Her remarks reflect a broader concern that both parties are beginning to question how the case was handled and whether critical information is still being withheld from the public. Internally, Trump's team has struggled to present a united front. Recent media leaks have exposed disagreements over strategy, with some advisors urging the former president to move on, while others encourage him to remain defiant. His frequent online rants, often filled with unverified claims and cultural distractions, have only deepened the sense of chaos surrounding his messaging. One of the most explosive developments came last week when a national newspaper published a report suggesting a link between Trump and a note allegedly found among Epstein's personal effects. The letter, reportedly part of a birthday gift collection, included Trump's name and an outline of a nude figure. Trump's legal team has vehemently denied the authenticity of the letter, calling it a fabrication and launching a massive defamation suit against the publisher. Legal experts note that this lawsuit may escalate tensions even further. The conflict now pits Trump against one of the most influential conservative media empires, a feud that could reshape alliances within the Republican ecosystem. Supporters see this as an opportunity for Trump to once again position himself as a political outsider battling the establishment. Critics, however, argue it reveals growing desperation. Former White House strategist Steve Bannon has suggested that Trump's confrontation with the media could, ironically, help heal rifts within the MAGA movement. By framing the controversy as a media smear campaign, Trump may regain sympathy from skeptical voters who still believe in his populist message. But doubts linger, especially over the federal government's handling of Epstein's case. Officials maintain there was no client list, no conspiracy, and no criminal connections to Trump. Investigators continue to insist that Epstein died by suicide, not through foul play. Despite these claims, public confidence remains low. Past scandals in Washington have taught us that cover-ups often do more damage than the original offense. And while there is no direct evidence implicating Trump in wrongdoing, the persistent ambiguity fuels further speculation. Attorney General Pam Bondi, once one of Trump's fiercest defenders, has found herself at the center of the storm. Her earlier comments suggesting possession of confidential Epstein-related materials raised expectations among voters, many of whom now feel misled. Bondi's loyalty to Trump is no secret, but critics argue that her handling of this issue has backfired and exposed the administration to legal and political vulnerabilities. One recent episode illustrates just how deeply embedded this controversy has become. When Trump demanded the release of sealed grand jury testimony from the Epstein case, Bondi's office immediately moved to comply, a move that many legal analysts described as highly unorthodox. Yet even if such testimony is unsealed, much of it may remain inaccessible due to legal restrictions, leaving critics and supporters alike unsatisfied. Vice President J.D. Vance, who had previously advocated for full transparency on Epstein's files, found himself in a difficult position last week. His profane dismissal of the latest media revelations appeared to contradict his earlier stance, raising questions about whether political loyalty now outweighs principle. Trump himself appeared to acknowledge the growing pressure when he resurfaced another controversial theory over the weekend. This time, it involved a sensational video suggesting former President Barack Obama committed treason, a claim widely debunked but nonetheless shared on Trump's account, accompanied by campaign music and imagery of fictional arrests. Analysts say such tactics reflect Trump's broader strategy: create multiple distractions, blur the focus, and reassert control over the news cycle. But critics argue that this approach is losing its effectiveness. With voter concerns mounting over transparency, accountability, and trust, the Epstein story could become more than just a political distraction. It could evolve into a defining test of Trump's leadership. Whether or not the controversy delivers long-term damage remains to be seen. For now, the political and legal fallout continues to unfold in real time. And as the 2024 race draws nearer, every misstep, every unanswered question could shape how history judges this moment. Stay with us for continuing coverage.